Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce CMATIC's video session 155. So basically in today's video, we will I will try to cover all the charts which are present under grids, okay? So in the grids, we have three types of charts, three types of subcharts that you can call it. So, one is like the matrix, one is like the uh, heat map, and another one is like tree map. Okay, so these are the three things: heat map, matrix, and tree map, which are present on the grid chart. It's quite a simple one. So what I will do is in this video itself, I will cover three of them itself, because various settings which we have been covering, like the chart markers, conditional formatting, okay, all these kind of legends, general properties, all this kind of structure are very much common. So other than that, we will focus like what is that exact difference where it will matter. Then some features which are there, if you are using a graph kind of a chart, it will be x-axis, y-axis, more or less the features are same, like using log scale, or avoiding the zero mark, anything like that. Okay, so other than that, we will just cover in this session the three of them. Maybe the difference is something we can take one separate session. Okay, but yeah, I will cover three of this chart today itself. Fine. Three of the subcharts which are present under grids. Okay, so what I will do is I will again open that same data set which we have been checking all the charts, and maybe I can just duplicate this, and I can duplicate it once again. Okay, so I will just move to the chart section, and here I will go to heat map. Okay, now once when I click on heat map, the first thing is like the chart is getting displayed, and under color you have the count of rows, as you can see. Okay, now there is something called as the x-axis and y-axis as well. Fine. So what I will do is the count of rows is over here, which is fine, and the x-axis I can go for something like, let's say, stage bucket only. Okay, so if under x-axis, if I just go for stage bucket, as you can see, this is how it looks like. Fine. So this is how this whole concept looks like. Now, what I will do is I will remove so basically you have closed stage, you have open stage, and this is how it looks like. Okay. That's the first part. And what I will do is I will open simultaneously once again this data set. And here I will directly go to this chart, which is the heat map. Okay, and under heat map, let's say I go for now y-axis, which is and I will go for the stage bucket. Okay, so this is how it looks like. It will look like. Okay, so basically, if you go for y-axis stage bucket, this is how it will look like, and if you go for x-axis, this is how it will look like. Okay, that is something which is fine, not an issue. Now I will directly just utilize all of the things. Okay, so I will just directly go to the heat map over here, and with the count of rows on under x-axis, what I can do is I can take stage bucket. Okay, and under y-axis, what I will do, I will go for stages. Okay, so as you can see here, this is how it looks like right now. So we have the open stage, we have the closed stage, and these are all the values which are here. Okay, ideally what happens, the more values which you have, if you provide it horizontally, I think that looks much neat. Okay, so what I will do is instead of stage bucket over here, uh, I will go for the other way around. Okay, so that it looks a bit neat. So here I will go for stage. Okay, where all the values are popping up horizontally, as you can see, and on the y-axis maybe I can go for the stage bucket. Okay, yeah, so that's the thing about this, and this looks a bit much more neater to me. Fine. So that's the thing about this particular part of heat map. Fine, so that's it. And then if we go to formatting, as you know, all the options are same. So under x-axis, like showing the title, giving the title, under y-axis, all this stuffs you have. Fine, but finally I will go to this heat map where you only have this option of either fitting the label, like if you want to fit the label, you can go for none. If you want to fit it, this is the way, and if you want to preserve the label, this is the fine. So automatically, again, this is all about scaling, how you want to choose the scaling, so that so that the whole chart gets fit in. Basically, this auto fit is nothing but ensuring that the whole chart which you are displaying is getting fit in the requisite space of the widget. Okay, that's the whole purpose of this one, and that's it. That's simple as it is. So this is all about, as you can see, it's more like a grid kind of a format, as the name suggests. And here you have that option. So basically, here the conditional formatting is related to. Just a moment. Yeah, so basically automatically this will be there. So let me check the legend tooltip. Okay, that's fine. So basically, as you can see, it's from a high range to low range. Okay, it's one of that way where we get to distinguish like how the colors are defined. Fine, and maybe I don't know if I go for conditional formatting for stage. Okay, so here you will get to see different colors, which I don't want to go. You have that option, but I think this is fine. Okay, So I hope you remember there was an option for conditional formatting where we get to choose two kind of variations, right? One is bin, one is gradient. So this is one of that gradation where you get to choose the color from light to blue. And like for example, the closed one, that's having the maximum values as you can see over here for the count of rows, because it's on the darker side, okay? And the ones which are light, like here, the probability is completely zero, okay? If the lighter shades of blue is like the colors you have, which suggests the number is low as far as the count of rows is concerned, and if it is like complete white, it's zero, okay? Nothing else over there. So that's about this one, which is heat map. So I will just quickly save this. So that's the first part. Let me save in my recipe dataset. Now we will try to understand the other part. So here what I will do, I will again go for, in the next part I'm going for the matrix right now, okay? So as you can see under matrix, you have the x-axis, y-axis, the bubble size and the bubble color, okay? So bubble color, bubble size, both are same right now, which is completely fine. Now what I will do is, like if I remove, I don't think I can remove any one of them. So ideally, the measure will take place in both the cases. So I think in this case, what I can do is I can go for, I don't know, I can go for sum of amount, and maybe here I can go for average of amount, okay? So I'm going for sum of amount and average of amount, and as you can see here, it's being showed up the sum of amount as well as the average of amount. And maybe under x-axis, like one of the fields which I can choose is that one, which is stage bucket. Okay, so this is how it looks like, as you can see. Fine. This is how this looks like, and if I just hover over here, it's showing me the sum of amount as well as the average of amount. And here, if I hover, it's showing me the sum of amount as well as the average of amount. Fine. So that's the thing about this one. And as you can see, like the color is being less, which means it's much more of a less color over here, like the value is less over here, and here as you can see it's on the higher side. Fine, that's how it suggests over here. Fine, that is one way. And what I can do is I can just take one more option where maybe I can just go for the matrix once again. So I will again go for the sum of amount. I will again go for the average of amount, and maybe instead of x-axis I can take it under y-axis. For example, let's say I take the stage bucket. Okay, so again this is how it looks like, as you can see over here. Fine, that's now you will replace all the options and we will see how the chart comes up. So what I will do is I will again just open this data set, directly go to matrix, and with the count of rows both being constant, okay, let's do one thing. Let's go for, I think yeah, I think the x-axis stage will again make sense over here. So let me go for x-axis stage, okay, which is fine. And for y-axis, maybe I can go for stage bucket. Okay, so as you can see, this is the way it stands out right now, okay, with the count of rows. So maybe what I can do is for bubble size, if I just go for, let's say, sum of amount, okay, as you can see it's increasing a bit in size. Fine. And if it's on the higher side, like it's basically showing the sum of amount, which is fine. So I think in this kind of thing, like if both are having the count of rows, that makes sense. Okay, that makes much more sense, I feel. Okay, so yeah, that's the count of rows. And if I go for sum of amount, as you can see, it's changing to median over here. Count of rows is this one. It's the sum of amount, which is on the higher side. Okay, and if you hover over here, you will be able to see the count of rows and sum of. Okay, anyways, I will just go for count of rows, which is completely fine for both of them, bubble size and bubble color. I'm just going for the count of rows, but ideally I hope you understood the difference. So basically, like if I go for, let's say, the sum of amount over here, and if I go for the average of amount, okay, what is happening is basically with the color I'm able to know which one is on the highest average. For example, like this color is a bit deeper, right? This color is a bit deeper, which I definitely know this is the highest average which is present. So for need analysis, this is the highest average of amount which is present, as you can see over here, which is 1 million. Now if you hover to others, okay, it's a bit lesser. Like of course this is the highest, and as you can see this is a bit lesser because this is the next dark color. Okay, and here also like it's 1.1 again. Okay, and here also it's like 1.1, but this is the highest, which is 1.8. 8 million. Okay, so that's the way I'm judging the bubble color. I can know which is the highest color. That's what this color is also defined over here. Okay, and with the bubble size, what I can distinguish is the sum of amount. For example, if it's on the higher side, this is the sum of amount. Okay, with the circle is being shown over here. Fine, the sum of amount. So the larger the bubble, the more will be the sum amount. For example, if I hover over here, you can see the sum of amount is 455 million. Okay, now the next larger is this one. So if I hover over, it's like 140 million, right? So drastically it reduced. So depending upon the size, and I'm quite sure with all this, as you can see, it's 53. So drastically it has reduced. Fine. So with the higher the bubble, the easier you know which is the highest sum, and the darker the bubble, you will get to know which one is the highest average. Okay. So that's the way it's defined, as you can see. And finally, if we go to the formatting option, so under formatting, if you see, like if you go to metrics, it's all about preserving the label, which is fine. Okay, so very quickly I can save this one as well, formatting options under matrix chart. I will save in my SAP dataset. And finally, the last one is related to the tree map. So again, once again, I will go to this tree map. So as you can see now, this is important. To display the tree map, you need one field for segment size, one or two fields for segment, and 0 to 2 fields for fields. Now what I will do is I will definitely open my notepad. And this is one condition. I will just take a note of it. So I will just copy this whole thing and I will just paste it over here. Okay, the way we have been doing for others, where some minimum requirement is needed. So we need one field for segment size and one field for segment. I mean, one field for segment size. That's the thing which you need, and one field for segment. Okay, so the count of rows we already have. Now, if I go for the stage bucket, I get to see the tree map. Okay, this is how this tree map looks like. Now, what I can do is I think, yeah, that's fine. Trailers and all, I'm not playing right now. So the count of rows and the stage bucket, and this is how the tree maps look like. Now, in this case, maybe instead of stage bucket, I can go for some more stages, which will look fine. So if you have certain dimensions which are having much more values, you can utilize this tree map for sure. You just need the segment size, and you can need the segment, and you cannot have multiple measures over here, as you can see, right? And again, here, if you go to the formatting options and the tree map, you have all these values of how you want to show the numbers. Okay, that's what it is, and that's very simple over here. So I can very quickly save this as formatting options under tree map. Okay, so that's it about this one. Like if you see, what I have done is basically, like I have first of all shown you like how when you go for heat map, how if you go for x-axis, how this shows up. Okay, and how if you display something on y-axis, how this shows up. Okay, now depending upon, I think horizontally it makes much more sense. So basically, when you have a lot of values, it's better you go for x-axis for those dimensions where you have a lot of values. Okay, then it will make a bit more presentable and neat, I feel. That's what my opinion is. Okay, so the more values you have in a dimension, you go for x-axis, and that's what it is displayed. Okay, and if you see like over here, that's what I've done. I've went for the stage which is having the more values than for x-axis, and I've shown the y-axis, the stage bucket, which are having less values. Okay, if it is equal, I think that's, or if for one or two is less, then it doesn't matter in that case. Okay, but ideally, if you have two dimension and one of the dimension is having many options and one of them is lesser options, then you can play around the many options. You can put as x-axis, and the lesser option you can put under y-axis, and that color you have anyhow the count of those, which is fine. Now, when it comes to the matrix, okay, so you have x-axis, y-axis, and color. When it comes to matrix, you have x-axis, y-axis, bubble size, and bubble color. So actually, you can define the dimensions in x-axis, y-axis, and you can define how you want to check out the bubble size and the bubble color. Based on that, you can go for the requisite dimension. When it comes to tree map, it's just about having the segment size and the segments, and that's what it gets displayed over here. Okay, there's a minimum requirement which we have already copied in our Note Plus as well. So yeah, that's it about this whole concept of grids. I mean, in one session we have covered all of these three. Maybe the difference part of it we can just cover in the next session, which will be a shorter session. Not much of a difference is there. But yeah, ideally, I hope you understood what this three is all about. And yeah, that's it about this video. We have completed the grids. In our next video, we will quickly walk through the difference between each one of them. Fine. Yeah, thank you.